What's up, YouTube? So for this segment, before we get into this video, let me explain what's going on. So in this segment of First Take, Chris Bosh, Max Kellerman, and Stephen S. Smith are going to discuss how is it going to affect LeBron if he doesn't make the playoffs. How is he going to react to that? Because he's been to the playoffs for almost 10 years in a row, and it doesn't look good for him making it with the Lakers. So how is he going to handle it? I have a pretty good idea how he's going to handle it, but let's let them talk here.
If the Lakers don't make the playoffs, or they get bounced out early in the playoffs because they weren't able to make any moves once the trading deadline expires, the LeBron you know, how's he going to feel about that?
We're in uncharted territories.
Actually, LeBron's not going to like it, but it won't be the worst thing that's ever happened to him. Because last year he got swept by Golden State. That tastes worse than not making the playoffs with the Lakers. So he already knows how to lose. He knows how to deal with rejection. He knows how to deal with people looking at him because he didn't win. Because of last year and other times that he got beat by Golden State. So he knows how to handle it. He knows how to handle this. Let's carry on.
I don't know that, LeBron, because he's always made the playoffs. I remember one time that he didn't make the playoffs. We played each other the last game of the year in 2004.
Yep.
And I forgot who won to get in on that AFC, but they took care of business. They beat us. He was so disappointed after the game. I remember walking through I didn't even say anything to him because he looked very upset. And, people were talking to him, and his head was down. And that was one of the only times I've seen him like that.
And again, LeBron's, he knows how to lose. He's lost in big fashion. So he might be a little bit happy now if they don't make the playoffs because he has zero pressure on him. Zero pressure to make it to the end. With the team that he has now, I don't think they're going to make it to the big show, to the finals. So he already knows what it's like to have that. And he damn sure doesn't want to go to the finals again and improve on that 3-6 going into the wrong bracket. So he's probably happy he's not going to lose again in the finals, which would give more steam or fuel the fire of people saying he's not the GOAT, which he isn't, he can't be, but it would just make it even worse to be 3-7. So he might be happy. He might be happy to not have to deal with it. And he's got no excuses, at least for this year. At least for this year, he can, skate by. But next year, if he gets Anthony Davis, or if Kyrie comes his way, or Kevin Durant, or Clay, somebody goes their way, he won't have any excuses. But let's let them keep going.
Question. Seedings, playoffs, East-West, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Do you think the NBA should ever go to a point where you just take the top 16 teams in the league and do away with Eastern Conference, Western Conference playoffs?
So I think that would be probably a good way to handle having teams go to playoffs because the Western Conference is top heavy. They have the majority of the stars. James Harden, for Oklahoma, that Westbrook, Adams. You going for the Lakers? Obviously, you have LeBron. Then you have the Golden State Warriors with Curry, Clay, Kevin Durant. They're just deep right now. Very, very deep. And did I mention Harden? I don't know, the Rockets. So the West is pretty strong right now, which is why LeBron always had a cakewalk of getting through the East and getting to the finals for, 9 years in a row. Also, LeBron might not like to get rid of the conferences or the divisions. Because if that was the case, he may not have even made it to the finals if that's the way they were doing it. Because he might have got bounced out against a Western Conference team before he got to the finals. So if the top 5 teams are from the West, LeBron may not even have made it past the first round. Because he would have had to deal with the Curry to begin with, first round maybe. He might have to deal with the James Harden to begin with. He might have had to deal with the Boston, even though they're East. There's a bunch of teams you would have had to deal with before you even got there if there was no divisions and it was just the top teams. So let's just carry on and see what else they have to say.
I think it's going to happen. You've already seen it happen with the All-Star game. I think that's maybe like a slight turn in that direction.
Do you think it should?
I think it should. I think, the fans deserve it, in my opinion. I think a few years ago, if we would have been in the playoffs, if they would have done that, we would have been going to Portland. I think back in 2013.
Right.
Way different. I think it's a shake-up. I think it's about time for a shake-up in the league. I think fans would appreciate that. You'd have to figure out the dynamics of who plays who and kind of.
Well, I think it would elevate the importance of the regular season competition.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, you can't take any games for granted because you're not just looking at your conference. You got to look at everybody.
Yeah, when it comes to this stuff, I'm always the grouchy old timer. I just like it the way it is. And then later on, I realize, I was wrong. The wild card was good. Look, I don't think it's coincidental that LeBron just suffers the worst loss by point margin in his career in a game in which he played. Right after all these trade rumors come out and all these young guys on the team hear their names in trade rumors. To me, that seems...
So what Max is talking about, if you guys don't know, so the Lakers got beat by Indiana by 42 points last night. That's the highest deficit loss that LeBron James has taken since forever, since he started playing on the team. So let me say that again. The 42-point loss, that's the worst loss LeBron has ever taken a game that he played in. So there's really no excuse for that. Kobe wouldn't do that. MJ wouldn't do that. 42 points? Getting beat up by 42 points by the Pacers? I mean, there's something else going on there. So let's continue on and see what they have to say.
Have demoralized them. We saw it in Cleveland last year, the same sort of thing. Everyone's name's in a trade rumor. Boy, at that point, you gotta clean house because these guys don't want to play for you anymore.
Right.
Whoa, that puts some pressure on Magic and LeBron because they're in danger of not making the playoffs as this continues.
So there is pressure, Max, but the pressure is not that much because everybody already knows this is a rebuilding season. Next year is probably going to be another rebuilding season unless they can get some firepower. So as far as that, we already know they're not going to do too well. But LeBron should still go out there every single night, no matter what, go hard. MJ went hard every single night. Kobe went hard every single night. So there's none of this, well, everybody's getting out of here, and I don't care about this team anyways because everybody's going to leave. You don't do that. That's not what the GOAT would do. The GOAT wouldn't do anything like that. And the GOAT wouldn't want to get beat by 42 damn points by the Pacers. And their best man's out. So I just don't understand the pouty attitude that LeBron has. Let's carry on.
They now move these guys even if there's no AD trade there.
Well, they have definitely made a dynamic because these are young guys, so they were just in high school 2 and 3 years ago. They don't know anything about the business of basketball. So I don't think it's a coincidence that right after the trade rumors, they come out flat. And don't get me wrong, Indiana's pretty good, but their best player isn't playing. There's no reason to lose by any team by 40-plus points in the playoffs, especially with all the talent.
Can this group get it back together if they're not dealt and make the playoffs?
I think so. They just have to have a serious talk. And I think they'll probably have to, get some stuff out and lay it out and then build from there.
I think they'll be just fine. They were just going through. Listen, there ain't no way in hell you lose by 40 to Victor Oladipo less Indiana Pacers team.
Yeah.
They didn't show up yesterday. Trading deadline, their head was all screwed up.
Probably
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Question for you. If you look at this right now, the Philadelphia 76ers just acquired Tobias Harris to join with Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. So now we're looking at the Eastern Conference, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. Can any of them give the Golden State Warriors a run in the finals in your estimation?
I don't think I'm not sure. Milwaukee's not proven. They're having a phenomenal year right now, but we've seen people have phenomenal years and kind of trail off in the playoffs because it's a different game.
Yep.
I don't know, in Toronto, they've beaten the Warriors once. I don't know if that gives them confidence this year or not. I think the Sixers, they're still trying to figure things out. Ben Simmons still has to improve. Joel Embiid, I think he has the opportunity to be one of, if not the best player in the league in the next 5 years. It's still more things to learn for those guys. One of the things that disturbs me as an older guy watching basketball is this was the year that Golden State was slipping a little bit. You know?
and then Boogie shows up.
Well, Boogie shows up and they get better, but where's the other team to say, oh, that's their rival?
What about Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City's doing very
defensively.
well. Defensively, they're very well, and I do like Oklahoma City. I liked them last year as well. I think they're the best matchup in the West against them because they can switch everything. They're long. They play great defense. Steven Adams can move his feet and stay in front of guards. And, I mean, they seem to have better team continuity. And you get the, ball in Paul George's hands late in the game. If it's close, he's a very good closer.
Is he that kind of, how much do we in the media overplay that, or are we right about that? Because to me, between evenly matched teams, not that there's an even match for Golden State, but between teams of similar talent, I say, for example, if Kyrie had the same kind of team around him Steph had, I like Kyrie's team. Even though Steph's better, Kyrie's got something in those moments. Do we overplay that? Is that a BS, or is there something to it? And you just said
Kyrie and Curry are two different players, so I wouldn't quite compare them. Kyrie's going crazy right now. He's been going crazy the whole time. But I think they're just kind of different players. Now, if you put Kyrie on the Golden State Warriors, I think the Warriors would still win because his supporting cast. But let's keep what he has to say.
Paul George is that kind of cat. You believe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something. Look, some guys just have that in their DNA to hit big shots. Paul has that. He has great handle. He's very good defensively, so he can stay on the court late in the game. But he's a phenomenal shooter, and he can get his shot off anytime he wants.
Last question.
And to add to Paul George, I think he was talking about even coming over to the Lakers at one point a couple months ago, but didn't want to deal with LeBron James, his finger pointing, excuse me, him throwing people under the bus. So it's like, you know what? I think I'll just go to OKC and run around here with Adams and Westbrook. So let's see what else they have to say.
Paul George, is he now what he was when he faced y'all in the conference finals when his star was ascending before that nasty injury in Team USA? Is he better now, or is he that guy?
Oh, I think he's better.
Better?
Yeah, I think he's better. I mean, I think one of the things he probably had to do when he had that horrific injury was change his game and kind of fall back and understand who he is as a player and how he's going to continue to be effective. That Paul George, same shot-making ability.